The Office of the Inspector General is an independent, nonpartisan oversight agency mandated to prevent and detect fraud, waste, and abuse of public resources at the state and municipal levels across Massachusetts. In October of 2022, Inspector General General Shapiro was sworn into a five-year term as the 5th Inspector General of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This morning, Inspector General Shapiro met with Newton Mayor Marc Laredo as part of his ongoing municipal listening tour to better understand each government's pain points and work together on solutions. And now they're both joining me in the studio, so thank you both for stopping by NewTV.
Thank you for having us.
So, Inspector, today's visit marked your 100th visit across Massachusetts from visiting different local communities. So, what have you been learning along the way regarding your listening tour?
What I thought originally was going to be a short little pilot of meeting with just a few municipal leaders has really become a way that we've changed how we do business in the Office of the Inspector General. And I was delighted early on in Mayor Laredo's term, in his first 40 days or so, to have the opportunity to sit and talk with him. And I think much of what we learn from these meetings are where there are pain points and how we can do better as an Office of the Inspector General and not be solely, as we're thought of, as the agency that looks for fraud, waste, and abuse and issues reports and does compliance work, but instead being a partner in prevention and knowledge transfer and business continuity, and really truly trying to make government work better tomorrow than it worked today. And our meeting today I thought was outstanding, and I really appreciated the mayor sharing time early in his tenure with us.
Mayor, so what pain points did you mention this morning?
You know, I'm not sure we have any pain points yet, but the critical thing is that Inspector General Shapiro and I had an opportunity to talk to one another, members of our team talk to one another, and I want to say I really welcome having the Inspector General come in and look at how we can always do things better. One of the things we're working on in the administration is constantly think about how we do things, what our processes are like, how we can do better, how can we, for example, get better contracting. And any and all suggestions that we get from the Inspector General's office will be welcome and appreciated. I view this as a partnership. They're in the business of making, obviously, an enforcement role, but in the business of making sure that state and local government functions more efficiently and in a better way. And I think that's our constant goal. How can we do better? So rather than being threatened by having the Inspector General visit, I am deeply appreciative of the fact that he was there in person with his team, and look forward to having many more opportunities to interact going forward.
So, Inspector, what will you do with this information that you learned from Newton Mayor or any other?
A lot of times from these meetings, and I like to do them one-on-one, where I meet in the city or town hall with the elected or appointed leader from that community, and they get to decide if we meet with them alone or if they meet with members of their team. Just like with the mayor, we met with the city solicitor with him. What we've learned from these are a number of different things. Some of the legislative priorities that we filed to change the statute with regard to procurement thresholds have come from these meetings. We run a training program through the OIG Academy where we do some certifications. A real result of a meeting with a local official was that because of the way that that program is funded, we don't get an appropriation. There's a fee for it. In some communities, they told us that the fee became a barrier for them to participate. We did a 2-year pilot where our office covered that fee. I can't do that forever, but from that we offered each city and town in the Commonwealth of 351 a free registration at our expense. And from that, I think out of the 351, I think it was well over 200 that participated. And as an Inspector General, my goal is to have more people understand procurement law than try to worry about having to raise the revenue to support that. So that was a huge success. I'm happy to share that Newton was a participating community in that program. So that's something we learned about this. We often learn about other kinds of issues with procurements, types of commodities or products or services that are difficult to procure and how we can do things differently. And I think once again we also learn about other offerings that we can do for trainings. We talked an awful lot with Mayor Laredo about best practices. We talked about knowledge transfer. We talked about a lot that he's doing with having job descriptions and having people understand what their roles and responsibilities are. And most importantly, I think he sets a tone from the top as a mayor that he wants his people to do the right thing. He wants them to ask questions if they're unsure. But I think that that is one of those things that we can't underestimate. We think that it happens everywhere, but I can tell you, while I'm quite proud of what goes on in the Commonwealth, that doesn't happen in every city.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So will you be visiting all 351
So
cities and towns?
I'm super happy that we hit 100, and after we met with the mayor and before today's interview, we met with 2 Newton residents, Joe and Jenny, who have visited all 351 cities and
right.
towns.
Yep.
And they went and we spent an hour having coffee with them, comparing notes. And so I'm super inspired by those 2 women who have spent time across our Commonwealth and really looked at each city and town and its attributes and its special qualities. And so while I'm at 100, and I was feeling good about it this morning when I met with the mayor after meeting with them, and they've been to all 351 cities and towns, I certainly have my work cut out for me. But I do look forward to having that opportunity. And I think from my role as the only state inspector general in the country that has both state and municipal authority, really one of the things that I focused on early in my tenure is what it means to do oversight for the cities and towns. So I do look forward to hitting all 351 cities and towns, but it certainly takes some time.
Absolutely. Mayor, you're also doing a listening tour throughout Newton. So what have you been learning from the residents? Have they,
You know, the concerns vary from meeting to meeting. We've had 2 so far. We have 8 more scheduled. I mean, it's everything from school buildings to snow removal. Snow removal is obviously a big issue
right
after
now.
a 2-foot snowstorm, to how you're going to respond to ice. And I find these extraordinarily informative. For one, we learn things. My staff is there. We take notes. We try to solve problems. Obviously, as we listen to more, we'll develop some common themes. But I just think being out there and communicating with, and most importantly, listening to the residents all throughout the city is vital. I've been doing the same thing with city employees. I've now met with virtually every city department, going to 4 police roll calls, for example, twice to the fire department, 3 times at DPW. They all work staggered work schedules. But the point of it is I want to be visible, and this is something we're going to continue. We're starting it now, and we're going to go back and do it again throughout my administration.
That sounds great. Now, Inspector, you've accomplished quite a bit since you've been appointed in 2022, including creating 3 new bureaus, as well as, so what have these, I guess, what have been the outcomes since these bureaus have been created?
Sure. I think one of the areas that we've done some work on is in veteran services. In the Commonwealth used to have a veteran secretary that was underneath the Health and Human Services Secretary, and our office did an awful lot of work there with the veterans' homes and some of the tragedies that certainly happened in Holyoke and some of the issues in Chelsea. From that, when the Commonwealth reorganized, we didn't have that authority, so I thought it was important for us to have a focus on veteran services. So we created that, and we've been able to do an awful lot of continued work in strengthening the oversight for veterans and ensuring that veterans' benefits are going to veterans and the ease with which they can access those. So I'm proud of the work that we've done there. With healthcare, while we've done some work in that space, I added a team so that we have people that are dedicated into looking at mass health and some of those issues. We've looked at access to care. We've looked at people that are in programs where the state serves as a custodian in one way or another, and to ensure that basic annual physicals and checkups and things like that are being accessed effectively. So we've been working with the different agencies that oversee that. So I'm certainly proud of that work. And then more broadly, one of our focuses has really been to look at across state government and where there are dollars that are spent, that there might not be a constituency to contact our hotline or to make a complaint otherwise, but it's either new spending, lots of spending, or that there's a risk area, but it might not have a constituency to talk about that. So we're affirmatively trying to look at that. And I'm really proud of the team that we have in the office and the work that we're able to put out.
Have you found a lot of fraud, I guess, throughout the cities and towns?
You know, I think the takeaway that I would say is really most state and municipal employees go to work every day wanting to do the right thing and serve their communities. I think that what we sometimes see is that the state and certainly municipalities collectively are not great at knowledge transfer. They're not great at training. People that have been there, and the mayor and I were talking about this, that are there a really long time and they're going to stay forever, then they decide to leave. And so how that kind of works and who understands these roles, we could do better, and we need to do better. That's one of those areas that I spend an awful lot of time focused on. On the other side, do we find things? You know, we have about 100 people and a $10 million budget. If I had 200 people and $20 million, I would find things. I'm proud of the work that we've done, the reports that we've put out, all of our public investigations and letters that are on our website. There's, I think, in calendar year 2025, we put out 30 of those either reports or investigatory letters across municipal and state government. I think we've uncovered and reported on some significant findings. On the other side, I think that what I'm most proud of is our prevention work, because I think those are the generational kinds of things where you help cities, towns, and state agencies really help themselves. And I think that's where you really can actually make government work better.
Perfect. So, Mayor, it's been a little over a month since you took office. What's been the best part of being mayor of Newton?
You know, this is the best job I've ever had, by far. I start off with the team both in the executive office, which is incredibly dedicated and hardworking. The department heads throughout the city really are top notch. And I'm not surprised, but I'm deeply appreciative of all the folks who come in and day out, police officers, firefighters, DPW workers, inspectors and inspectional services, the folks in health and human services, the people in older adult services. They love their jobs. They come in, they're motivated, they're excited, they really want to go to the extra mile. And so that part has been great. And frankly, I love meeting the residents. I love going to events, whether it's a Lunar New Year celebration or Civics Day at Newton North, where I'm going later today, or attending Newton South girls basketball team like I did a game a couple of weeks ago, or seeing a theater performance over in the little theater at Newton North. All those things are absolutely wonderful. This is truly a dream job. And I'm just grateful to the voters of the city. They've given me the opportunity to have this dream become a reality.
I'm sure we could discuss your jobs in way more detail than we are today. But lastly, how can someone find out what you're doing and see results that may happen during your time in each position? So,
you want to start off, Jeff? Or?
Sure. I would encourage people to go to our website, www.mass.gov, OIG, and you can find our website, you can find our reports, you can find all kinds of resources, proactive kinds of things that we want to share. It also encourage your viewers, if they see something that's of concern to them in the fraud, waste, and abuse at the state and municipal level, to reach out to us. They can put in a complaint. They can either attach their name to it, or they can do it anonymously, and they can do that 1-800-322-1323, or they can go to IGO-fight-fraud@mass.gov, or www.mass.gov/OIG-fight-fraud. And we certainly get tips from the public. I think last year we got 2,500 tips. We have a team that knows how to triage those and go through those. and that's always helpful. But more importantly, just go to our website and understand what it is that we do. And I think members of the Commonwealth in cities and towns should just feel good to know that they have an office of the Inspector General. People ask who I work for, which is a very common question. I work for the people. I work for the public, and I'm honored like the mayor. It's a dream job, and every day I'm energized to be able to do this work, and I'm thankful to do that. Thank you.
So like the Inspector General, I too work for the residents of the city of Newton, and I remind everybody on my team about that on a regular basis. We work for the residents. In terms of finding out about us, our newsletter is a great place to start. Sign up for the mayor's newsletter. We have a website. It needs some work. That is one of our major initiatives, but still it's a great source of information. And our various departments, Parks and Recreation, Arts and Culture, Planning, Older Adult Services, all put out regular newsletters which are designed to keep the public informed. So there's a variety of ways of finding out what we're doing, and we're constantly striving to do better in that regard.
Well, thank you both for joining me today. It
Thank
was,
you.
Great to see you. And Newton News will be right back.